When I say that they don't care if we die, I really mean it literally. This is from the newsletter last week. I needed to make sure to flag it here too, because I think we're going to see more of this under the Trump administration. But essentially, anti-abortion activists have started to frame life-saving abortions and sometimes even call explicitly life-saving abortions elective. How is that possible? How is a life-saving abortion elective? The short version, and I'll give you the longer version too, the short version is that they say if someone has a life-threatening pregnancy, you can just force them into a C-section, force them into vaginal labor instead of a traditional abortion procedure. So to be crystal clear, what they're saying is someone who is dying from their pregnancy should be unnecessarily forced into major abdominal surgery or a traumatic vaginal birth rather than being given a safer, quicker, easier, less painful, less traumatic abortion, even when it's too early for the fetus to survive or the fetus is non-viable. Why in the world would they want to do that? I get this question all the time. It's because they are desperate to prove that abortion is never necessary to save someone's health or life. We know that's not true, but they think that if they can force doctors to give women with life-threatening pregnancies C-sections, they can say, see, she didn't need an abortion at all. She just needed a C-section. I told you abortion is never medically necessary. In other words, they're willing to torture women in service of a political talking point. And I wrote about this in my book as well, but this is why language is so important. They are doing this slow rollout of this idea of calling life-saving abortions elective by one, embedding it in the cultural consciousness, right? By again and again saying abortions are never medically necessary, and by changing legislation. In some states, for example, they have language that says if someone has a life-threatening pregnancy, you can give them a maternal fetal separation. That is not a real medical term. It is a way for them to divorce abortion from healthcare. Similarly, you might notice in legislation, and again, culturally, they'll say treatment for an ectopic pregnancy is not an abortion. Treatment for a miscarriage is not an abortion, even when the procedure or the medication is the exact same. They are desperate to divorce abortion from healthcare and to make this argument that abortion is never medically necessary. You can find out more about this at the newsletter or in my book, but it is so vital that we are paying attention carefully to the language that they are using, to the messages that they are sending, and where they are trying to put them.